these guys. So new dyno numbers, 161, 160, something like that, 160 flat, something like that. So an extra, what, 8 horsepower? Yeah, 8 horsepower, something like that, which is nice. It's exactly what I wanted out of this bike. It's fucking tuned, it's quick, blah, blah, blah. I'll keep it for a little bit. Might sell it for something else in a little bit. We'll see. I might try a Gixxer. Man, I really have to give those guys at Marietta Motorsports credit. They're fucking down-to-earth, chill people, man. I like them a lot. I'm actually gonna put a link for them in the description. So if you're in the Atlanta area, go see them. Their shop's pretty small and out of like kind of the middle of nowhere. But dude, like they know their shit. Fucking nice. Really cool dudes there. I mean, I'll go there just for the service. He invited me to go track days with him too. I might take him up on that. But these people race hard. I mean, like hard. Guy was gonna run out in front of me, man, for a second. I need to tighten up my chain. I need to lube it when I get home as well. If I start to actually like track days, I might just get like a, I might actually just get like a 600 that I can just fucking run out a lot, you know, not worry about destroying it. That way if I crash it, it's no big deal. Everyone always asks me, Dan, what do you think the perfect starter bike is? And this question gets kind of old because there's really no answer. I used to say that, hey, you know, a 250 or whatever is fucking perfect starter bike, who really fucking cares? You know, and here's the thing, man, that's not necessarily true. Everyone's gonna start out on different bikes, and it's a good thing that people start out on different bikes. There's no correct answer for this, because what I may be able to handle as my first bike may not be what you're able to handle, or you might be able to handle way more. It's all about how you've built it up. So I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, like, oh no, he's not gonna answer. So here I go. I'm gonna give you my opinion on what the best starter bike is for someone who's looking to start on a motorcycle. If you're looking for a sport bike, you know, a sport bike or a touring bike or a cruiser, those are your main things, or a dual sport, you know, those are really your main 4 categories as far as street bikes are considered. If you're looking for a sport bike, I'd say the Suzuki SV650 is a great starter bike for many reasons. It's got enough torquey power to where you're not worried about merging. You can still do all the regular stuff that motorcycles can do. You can pop wheelies on them all day long. Although it's not smart, it's a V-twin and burns oil doing that, blah, blah, blah. But it's a great bike to start out with. It's fast enough, but it's not so fast and so torquey that you're gonna fucking loop it, which really isn't gonna happen either way. Most people who crash do so at low speeds, like in parking lots, learning how to stabilize their bike. You know, that's where most people crash. Either that or they're doing something douchey. So if you're starting out on a motorcycle for the first time, be careful in parking lots and learning how to ride, and don't do anything douchey. It's pretty simple, pretty simple. The reason, there's a bunch of other 650s, like the Ninja 650 would also be a good alternative if that's what you wanted. I don't see there's anything wrong with that. The 650 class is in the CBR 650. Is there I know there's a CBR 500. I don't know if there's a 650. I don't fucking pay attention that hard. But any 650 sport bike is going to be better than a 600cc sport bike because the engines are tuned way differently. Believe it or not, the 600cc sport bikes, or the 599s, they have more power than your 650s. 650s are tuned differently. Like the SV650, for instance, has a V-twin motor, so it fires like this instead of like an inline, which fires like that. So just the difference in the motor makes all the difference in how much power you're making. Now, I don't know if that's the same for the Ninja 650, but I do know it has less power than the 600. So that's a good alternative. And now if you're looking for a cruiser, what's a good cruiser sport? What's a good cruiser bike to start out on, Dan? And the thing is, with cruisers, it doesn't fucking matter. If you can sit on it and put your feet down and you're comfortable on it, get it. Like, who cares? You know? Like the power difference between a 250, like the difference between a Honda Rebel 250 and a fucking 650 or a 700 on a cruiser is not that big of a difference. Yeah, but it's got more power and torque, but dude, they're heavy and they're slower than sport bikes are. You can get a 1500 and it still wouldn't match up to what a 600cc sport bike can do. You get what I'm saying? So start on any cruiser you want. It's not a big deal. If you're comfortable on it, you sit good on it, you can start out on any cruiser you want. I personally like bobbers. They're lighter, they're kind of more compact, you know, they're not big and fucking bulky and all that shit. So a little bit easier to start out on bobbers, I guess, and they look cooler. You know, they're not the most comfortable bikes, but they're fun bikes. Dual sports, I don't really know much about them. I know that you can probably pretty much get any size dual sport you want. Yeah, I think a lot of people who ask me what the perfect starter bike is because they're worried about having too much power or not enough power, one of the two. I usually don't recommend a 250 just because most people who ride get bored of the 250 right away. And it's just because of people's personalities. I want to go faster, man. I gotta have the fast. I want to go so much faster. Everyone's on boost, bro. Everyone's on high boost. You know, everyone's got to go the fastest. You know, and the only reason I got a 1000 is because I had a good offer for a trade, and I knew these had better resale value. So that's the only reason I have a leader bike. If I did not get this offer to straight trade title for my 600 for this 1000, I'd have kept my 600, and I probably would have been more than happy with it. Do I think you should start out on a leader bike? No, not particularly. I mean, people are going to do it anyway. And there's going to be the people in the comment, but Dan, I just started on a leader bike. I'm perfectly fine. Just fucking with power. You're never going to use all the power. That's an airplane, dude. I'm never going to use all the power of this thing. Even topped out at 83 GPS 190. I'm not using it to its full potential. I mean, I'm not on track. I'm not fucking hitting the twisties hardcore. There's no reason for me personally to own a leader bike other than the fact that I want to go faster. I want to be faster than your 600cc sport bikes. I want to talk about going 190 miles an hour. I'm the fastest thing on two wheels. I'll put a booster. I'll put a booster. You know, it's 1300cc's. But a CX-14R is 1400. It's fucking 1400cc sport bike. It's so much faster, man. Oh my god, fucking shut up. There's gonna be people who are like, Dan, I started on a hot booster, bro, and I've got no issues with it. I was great. I bought that thing, did 160 miles out of the box, dude. Cool. And does that mean you're a better rider? How well can you take a turn on your lowered stretch Busa? You can't. And I'm not saying it like I'm a pro fucking MotoGP dickhead, you know, by all means I'm not. There's no reason on this planet to have a leader bike unless you're a fucking MotoGP porn star and can actually use it. Like I said, the only reason I got a leader bike is because I got a good deal for it. It's slightly less comfortable than my 600 was. It's taller, it's bigger, it's just not as comfortable as my 600 was. If you want to be comfortable and buy a sport bike, don't buy a sport bike. Because you're gonna have to deal with, like, if you're commuting, can you get in your lane? If you're commuting daily, like, this isn't the most comfortable way to travel. The most comfortable way to travel is on a big, comfy, cruiser, couch-looking motherfucker. But Dan, should I get a sport bike or should I get a cruiser? I wanna go fast, but I also wanna be comfortable. Then get in the middle, dude. Get a sport touring bike. Like a Suzuki SV1000 is both comfortable and fast as fuck. It's still a V-twin, but it's a 1000cc. Those things are booking it. I think those will do like 160. Don't get a Grom as your first starter bike unless you know, are an idiot. I don't think Groms are great starter bikes. They're great to learn how to ride a bike on, but I think that's about all they're good for, unless you want to just goon around and have fun all the time. Because they are goon bikes. You have to fucking goon them to have fun on them, you know? They do at the most 55 miles an hour, 60 going downhill if you're like 90 pounds. So I don't personally think that Groms are the best starter bikes. I think if you want a small sport bike because you're afraid of a 600 for whatever reason, then go with a 250 or a 300. Honda's even cutting out their 600cc sport bikes altogether from what I've read. I don't know how true that is. People on the internet are going to tell me how right or wrong I am. Go for it. I don't care. But I don't think starting out on a leader bike or anything bigger than a 600 is usually a great idea. That's just my 2 cents. You're still going to go out and buy a Busa as your first motorcycle. Just remember, dude, if you crash going 160, there's a good chance you're not going to survive. Whoop it, Dan, I crashed at 160. Oh, man, no big deal. Wasn't even wearing a helmet. I'm perfectly fine. Shut up. Nobody cares, Busa, bro. But Dan, I got a Busa, bro, and I was fucking doing 160 miles an hour. I crashed a telephone pole wearing no helmet or flipping flip-flops. I'm perfectly fine. Look at me walking around. Whoop-a-doo. Dude, nobody cares, Busa, bro. The truth is, I think that 1000cc sport bikes are too much as it is. At any point in time, first gear is 100 miles an hour on this fucking thing. If you don't think that's too fast, you can technically stay in first gear. It's not the best idea. See, I'm in first gear. The front wheel just kind of comes up when I accelerate. I mean, that's dangerous, yeah. I think the most important thing to do when choosing your first motorcycle is don't even ask people, because who cares? I'm gonna tell you, I like the Honda CVR 600 as a good starter bike, or fucking whatever. But Jake the Garden Snake, he's gonna tell you that you either need to get a dual sport or you need to kill yourself. Walterific's gonna be like, I don't know what motorcycles are. 6'4" Honda's gonna be like, oh, CVR 600, fuck, or whatever, you know, whatever he rides. It's all a matter of opinion. Everyone's gonna start on different things. You go to 650iB and be like, oh, Ninja H2. I doubt he's actually gonna say that, but you know, whatever. You need to look at a couple things when deciding your first motorcycle. And the reason I hope I'm not coming off as too dickish, but dude, I get this question every day and I kind of want to nip it in the ass and I never want to talk about it again. So just look at what type of bike do you want? Do you want a cruiser or do you want a sport bike? Or do you want a touring bike? Or do you want a dual sport? Once you figure that out, you can start looking at what type of bike you want from there. If you want a dual sport, a WRF 250 is always a great bike to go with. That's what all the other moto vloggers do, besides Jake the Garden Snake. I mean, they all have the WR 250s or whatever. They can get up and they can wheelie. They'll still be quick, you know? If you want a sport touring bike, BMW makes some great sport touring bikes. They're expensive, but they're nice. One of those big Honda Goldwings, those aren't really a sport touring, those are more of just a touring bike. But you can fall asleep on the fucking thing. They have cruise control and shit. If you want a cruiser, you can literally get any cruiser you want. The options are endless with cruisers. A Shadow 700 or 650 or whatever the Shadows come in, those are great bikes. They're good for bobbing out. They're good for customizing. They're a shit ton of parts. A Honda Magna, it's a great starting bike, sure. Here's the thing though, they don't make the Honda Magnas anymore, so the chances of you finding one that's not a little carburetor finicky are kind of rare, because there's 4 carbs. So I mean, the newer, the better, and you can get any size you want, man. It can be a Harley Davidson for all I give a shit about, you know? And if you want a sport bike, you have to say, am I worried about killing myself? If the answer is yes, then you should probably just stick with a 600, you know? It'll still do 145 miles out of the box. It's still hella quick. At the same time, you know, it's not so quick to the point where you're gonna accelerate and gonna loop it out instantly. I mean, you have to kind of try to do that. If you're not riding wheelies and acting like a dickhead, you probably won't loop your bike. Also, you have to kind of look at the area that you're in. If you're in a busy town, you know, where it's bumper to bumper traffic, something automatic would be fucking great. Like what Fusitube got. He got that Africa or whatever, the Africa Twin. Automatic bike, sport touring. It's a 1000, it's fast as fuck. That's a great option for heavy city traffic because you don't have to clutch. I mean, it's really not that bad, but for some people it's an issue. If you live in big open countries, you whatever the fucking bike you want, dude. Like this, totally acceptable for a 1000, I guess, just because the open roads, you know, I can accelerate at any given time and haul ass. Look, now I'm doing 106 gear, just rolling on the throttle. Didn't even have to downshift, just roll on the throttle. That shit's quick as fuck. I'm trying to bring this video to a close so I don't ever have to answer this shit again, even though I know people will still ask. And if we're gonna be people in the comments saying, Dan, what do you think of fucking, just trolling me, Dan, what do you think of fucking bike is gonna be the best bike in the world, bro? Would you recommend a Honda CBR 1000 as your best first bike? I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. It's all about what works for you and what you want. Why would you want to start on a 1000? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, dude, if that's what you want, fucking go for it. Oh my God, you two. Give me like a straight for a second, man. That's really all I have to say about it. I hope you guys make the right decision, get whatever best suits you, and don't ask me anymore. And it's not because that I don't like you guys asking me questions, but it's because I get asked it every day, and I feel like my previous video was good enough to answer the question, but I guess not. So anyway, guys. Have you had your asshole licked by a fat man in an overcoat? Cause I have an overcoat and I eat ass. It's 2016, baby. Everybody eating ass. I hope this video's been helpful. And tell you what, if I get 3 likes on this video, I'll do a push-up. If I get 1, 2, 3 likes, I'll do push-up.